In a village where the river bent like an elbow and the hills wore their green close, there lived a young potter named Amara, whose hands could not stay still. Each morning she woke to the baker's first fire crackling. Before smoke climbed above the rooftops, she was already at her wheel. Clay spun fast beneath her palms. Bowls rose and fell in minutes. She glazed them in bright yellows and sudden reds, colors that shouted from the kiln. By midday, her shelves groaned with pottery. By evening, every piece was sold in the lively market square.
"Look how quick she is," the villagers said. "Look how much she makes."
Amara smiled, counted her coins, and felt accomplishment rise in her chest like steam. This, she believed, was joy, the clatter of trade, the weight of silver, the eyes that turned to watch her work. She slept dreaming of fuller shelves and brighter colors. But clay, like water, teaches slowly. One morning, old Basu the woodcarver stopped at her stall. His hands were gnarled as tree roots, his movements careful and unhurried. He lifted one of her bowls, bright with orange and pink stripes, and turned it in the light.
"It's bright," he said.
"It sells," Amara replied, already reaching for another customer. Basu set the bowl down gently.
"Brightness fades," he said, and walked on.
Amara frowned, but only briefly. There were coins to be made. The seasons turned, the rains came and went. Amara's hands moved faster still. She rose before dawn, worked by candlelight, skipped her morning tea, forgot the names of children in the square. Her shelves filled with bowls and cups, all shouting their color into the world. Then one day, a merchant arrived from the southern cities with a cart of pottery from distant kilns. His pieces were smooth as river stones, glazed in deep blues and quiet greens that seemed to hold light instead of shouting it. Villagers gathered around his cart in reverent silence. Amara watched as her own bright bowls sat untouched. That night, she worked until her eyes burned and her fingers cramped. She spun faster, glazed brighter, fired hotter. Still, the next day, the merchant sold everything, and Amara sold nothing. "What am I doing wrong?" she asked the empty air. Only the river answered, moving as it always had, patient and persistent. In frustration, she hurled a bowl against her workshop wall. It shattered. In the sudden silence, she heard things she had ignored for months. The settling of the house, the breath of wind, the distant song of nightbirds. She sat among the shards and wept. The next morning she went to Basu's workshop. "Teach me," she said.
"Teach you what?"
he asked. "How to stop." For 7 days, Amara sat with Basu and did not touch clay. She watched him carve, slowly, deliberately. He studied the grain before each cut. Sometimes he carved nothing at all.
"I'm listening,"
he told her. "To what wants to be made?" On the 8th day, he gave her clay.
"Before each movement,"
he said,
"wait, count, feel."
The bowl she made was rough and uneven. It took all day. She hated it.
"Good,"
Basu said.
"Now make another."
Weeks turned into months. Her work slowed. Her coins dwindled. The village whispered. But her hands were changing. She began to notice the memory held in clay, the way shapes carried weight, how quiet glazes could hold entire skies. She learned patience, 17 careful passes instead of 3 hurried ones. She learned to wait for the kiln to cool. The old joy, the quick joy of speed and coin, faded. A quieter joy took its place, one that lived in attention, not applause. One morning she opened her kiln and found a simple cup, glazed gray-blue like morning mist, It did not shout, but it was true. She placed it on her shelf and made another. Seasons turned again. Amara sold fewer pieces, but people lingered. They held her work in silence. They asked thoughtful questions. A woman returned one week after buying a bowl. "It's changed how I drink my tea," she said. "I sit longer now." Old Basu visited and turned a small green plate in his hands.
"You've learned to listen,"
he said. "I'm still learning."
"That never stops."
Skill beats rush. Care always shows. To perfect, one must first unlearn and listen.